talk about rest, talk about sleep.
Okay.
Kenapa kita perlu tidur? Why do we need to sleep? Why do we need to rest?
Okay. During rest is when our body does all the repair and recovery, and it's like a reset lah. So kalau during the day kita makan, during the night kita tak boleh makan. Tak ada orang sleep eating kan? Belum ada lagi lah. Sleepwalking pernah dengar lah, sleep eating belum lagi. Jadi that is when kita punya blood glucose level, insulin level, stress level, segala-gala yang in the daytime that could have gone up, it's supposed to come down. Science also shows that actually we don't need to sleep maybe one whole stretch of 8 hours at one go. Maybe we can sleep like cara sunnah juga, tidur awal maybe by 9 lepas isyak, bangun awal maybe 3-4 am. That's the best time to be awake, because udara dia lain, everything about that time. That is when, sebab tu kita dianjurkan buat solat tahajud, kan, apa semua during the last third of the night. Then sambung dengan rutin harian. So sebelum lunch ataupun during lunch time is also the best time to get a short nap. Then after that you continue with the rest of the day. Then the cycle continues lah. So because sleep is a very vital function that we may be in this day and age where everything is so digital, reliant towards digital devices. It is something that we always put aside, and as a result, there's a lot of people who are chronically in sleep debt.
Sleep debt.
Hutang tidur.
In 24 hours, kalau kita kira jam lah what is the good number for us to sleep intermittently pun lah kan, as you mentioned just now?
Personally for me, I think it varies with everyone.
Yes.
But personally for me, sometimes when I'm tired, I just take 5-10 minute naps. It would refresh me for another half a day, for example.
Right.
So I think if we are talking in 24 hours, about 7 to 8 hours would be nice. But it would vary with the individual, and also with whatever stresses that they were dealing with in the day, and what they eat. And if you notice, let's say you have a big heavy meal and then you go straight to sleep, you will sleep longer. Probably because the body is trying to recover back from that big meal, trying to stabilize the blood sugar again, and all that. Which is not really recommended. The body is trying to fight or trying to re-stabilize.
That always happens to me lah, lepas berani kan. Cuma tu
bukan berani tu.
kena berani, lepas tu knocked out. Okay. So what's your sleeping pattern, Isri?
If I may add a little bit to what Rahmat said, sleep is important, not just to recover, but also sometimes if you think about it, when we sleep, right, whether 6 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, sometimes you sleep 9 hours and still wake up very groggy. Sometimes you sleep 3 hours and wake up very fresh. Now why is that? Because sleep happens in cycles. You go from light sleep, deeper sleep, very deep sleep. If you were to wake somebody up when they were in a very deep sleep state, obviously when they wake up they will feel very, very groggy. But if the person has gone into a light sleep mode, just a slight sound, they will wake up already, and they don't feel very groggy, they feel quite refreshed. So it has to do with all these cycles. So you got to time your sleeping routine to match with your activity. Let's say you have to get up early because you have to go to work, then make sure by the time 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. comes, you enter into that light sleep phase so that you can wake up refreshed, rather than if you were to go into a deep phase when at 6 a.m., then you will be in trouble when you wake up. Okay?
I think just to add on a bit on what you mentioned about cycles, tidur, it happens in cycles. Kita punya hormones dalam badan, blood sugar, kita punya everything in dalam badan kita happens in cycles. So dia ada naik, ada turun. So sama juga kalau kita fikirkan about stress and all that, ada naik, ada turun. Kalau kita, hidup kita straight, dia tak ada stress je kan, boring babe. Kan? Kalau tinggi sangat je stress pun boleh jadi penyakit jiwa pula, sakit otak ke kan. So life happens in cycles lah, ups and downs. So that is fitrah hidup atau lumrah hidup yang kita patut terima.
For myself, kalau nak tidur tu malam lah kan, I can't sleep immediately after work. Dia macam kadang-kadang bila sebelum tidur tu dalam pukul 9:30, 10 tiba-tiba email masuk dan nak kena reply to the email, start to do something. But I know I have to knock out by 11. I know I have to sleep because tomorrow I have to wake up, right? So tapi bila nak tidur tu tak boleh because my mind is still working.
I see.
So my best time is after 9:30 I switch off all my devices.
Yes.
Kalau orang message ke, orang email ke, I will ignore. So we have to learn to ignore lah. We have to pilih our priorities. Last solat, lepas tu terus I hit the bed. Lepas tu how do I get to sleep? Mind still working, right? So I kind of do this breathing exercise. I hold my breath. It kind of work for me lah. You know, I just hold my breath until I think it's time for me to breathe again. Then I breathe again. So I think that breathing helps in a way. So if you to go back to the basic of the basic stuff as a human, breathing. How important is this? Especially now at this in this situation of COVID-19. How do we go? How do we take note of our breathing?
Very good subject to bring up because breathing is so basic we don't even think about it. But if you notice, breathing affects the way we feel, or sometimes the way we feel affect our breathing. So by controlling one, you can actually affect the other. You think about it when you are excited or when you are angry, you tend to breathe faster. When you are more relaxed, you are calmer, you tend to breathe slower. And if you were to see someone who is sleeping, you can notice their breathing pattern is very slow and steady and regular. So what you did or what you do at night to get yourself to sleep, that's an example of taking control of your breathing, slowing it down so that you enter a more restful state. Breathing, there are a lot of ways to breathe to control your physiologic functions in the sense. To calm yourself down, like you mentioned, you can do, you just slow down your breathing, maybe one breath every 6 seconds, for instance. Okay, you can do that. And then you hold your breath for another 6 seconds, and then you breathe in, also 6 seconds, and then breathe out and hold. So it just instead of normally we take about maybe 12 to maybe 16 breaths every minute. You can actually slow it down to maybe 6 breaths a minute.
As Yus was talking about slowing down the breathing to 6 seconds, I was reminded of my time in with Tok Mudim dekat klinik sunat. So budak-budak tu datang, tak tahulah, maybe dia punya uncle auntie dah bagi tahu macam-macam story ke apa. Diorang dah tahu ada ketakutan, and you can see the fear in them.
Okay, back story sikit. Rahmat is a Mudim assistant.
Back story. So I spent a couple of years in that clinic assisting the khatan. So Tok Mudin datang, dia bagi satu so budak-budak dah ketakutan kan.
Of course.
Hyperventilating, ada dah mula menangis, dah tak boleh duduk diam. So Mudin tu pegang tangan dorang, dia tengok mata budak-budak tu, dia cakap satu benda je. Okay, repeat after me, tarik nafas pelan-pelan. Lepas tu as they are breathing out, they say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And he did that a couple of times. Alhamdulillah, after that budak-budak tu pun calm down. And siapa yang hysterical sebelum tu dah boleh dengar cakap, dah boleh follow instructions, dah boleh ikut dah, then procedure dia can continue. And after that, alhamdulillah tak ada masalah apa-apa lagi lah. So a lot of breathing or a lot of like you mentioned, physiological functions affect. Kalau kita tengah takut, kita will breathe faster. Kalau kita tengah marah, kita pun breathe faster. But it can also work the other way. We can control our breathing to control our state of mind or heart. Kita boleh control our physiological functions juga. Yeah.
Yeah, not just breathing. I mean, just your face. Let's say macam tengah marah. Cuba try senyum masa tengah marah. Kau boleh rasa marah. susah kan.
Ataupun senyum, ataupun tengah marah ketawa. Kan?
You do the opposite lah.
You do the opposite.
But that means you are in a controlled state.
Yeah.
You are in a state where you can control your emotions, your reaction.
Yeah.
But it comes back to, kalau nak react tu, take a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
Then that moment to breathe allows you to think of how you want to react and put in the emotions to readjust the emotions just to make sure that the situation gets better.
Yeah.
Talking about controlling emotions and our elders, I'm thinking about respecting the elders. I mean, kalau dah berhenti usia lebih lanjut ni, kadang talk about, you mentioned about dementia, Alzheimer's. Yes. My father-in-law pun dah ada early onset of dementia. Sometimes dia tak sadar apa yang dia buat, and sometimes he thinks out loud.
Right.
Dan kita affected. Apa saya cakap macam ni? So how do we handle that? How do we, macam, I mean, dementia ni kira it will happen, but how do we prolong it from happening? Is that right?
Prevention.
Dementia ni affects people differently lah. Yang ada becomes very moody or aggressive sometimes because they cannot process what is happening to them, or they cannot remember things. So things becomes difficult for them lah. And sometimes it's because of their, maybe diorang memang panas baran as younger, so all this comes naturally to them. So it's not easy for them to control their behavior, but us as the children, for instance, we can still respect them because they are our parents. We can try to minimize what troubles them. Okay, but we should also try to respect them, respect their space, respect their ability. Sometimes they still want to do what they used to do, like cooking, for instance, because that's what they've been doing. Maybe they've been stay-at-home moms all their lives, right? So it's something they're very familiar with. Like we mentioned earlier, they don't lose all these long-term memories or long-term skills that they've mastered long ago. So let them do what they can in the kitchen, like maybe just help them a bit, but at least when they do something they're familiar with, they feel more comfortable. So we try to get them to feel more at ease, not challenge their every move.
Yeah.
Because that creates a very tense and stressful situation for them.
In fact, for all parties, I think. I think a common mindset that the children may take, or what we may see in the hospital, is that the children start thinking that, they start believing that the parents, due to old age, have become children or have become and then that they cannot make decisions and they don't have opinions of their own, and which is not true, because however you are in your younger years, in your older years, you will become a very fixed person, or I wouldn't say fixed, it's probably a more hardened version of that. If let's say you were very happy, very easygoing in your younger years, in your older years you would become more so. And if you were, let's say, macam you kata tadi, panas baran, ataupun suka senang menenting, In the older years also similarly. So I guess the children would have to relate back to how they were in the younger years, and then still respect them and give them the autonomy and give them the space to make their own decisions and respect their opinions. But at the same time, what they can do is they encourage what like the example that you gave earlier in dementia, for example, just layankan lah in that sense, layankan, but jangan perlekehkan, jangan make them into
budak-budakkan
children.
lah.
Jangan budak-budakkan, exactly.
Don't take it as a cycle.
Yeah.
Dah tua kita. But I think I've heard it many times when people say when the onset of dementia, Alzheimer's, and they start to behave like apa tu? It's not that they're behaving like children. It's what they remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So we cannot treat them as that.
Yes, exactly.
We just layankan lah.
Layankan,
right?
Yeah. Kalau if we have difficulty doing that, imagine masa kita kecil dulu, sebab kita dah tak ingat kan. Masa kita kecil dulu, macam mana mak bapak kita layankan kita. Tanya soalan, tanya 10 kali.
Repeat.
Repeat. So sekarang kalau diorang buat macam gitu, takkan kita tak nak layan mak bapak kita kan. So we layan, we still give them the respect that they are due because they are our parents. We see a lot of tense situations, use kata, when anak-anak, as they grow bigger and older, they want certain ways done this way, but it shouldn't be the way. We should still respect whatever. Some people in their younger years were very independent, and as they grow older, they still are fiercely independent and still want things to be done their way. Leave it to them. What we can do is we can encourage, we can give advice, and layan.
Dia macam, I don't like the word lah, basically. Kenapa kita pakai perkataan kronik ni? Kronik opposite of acute lah. Acute tu bila kita sakit, kita rasa at that point, yes, the pain is there. There's an acute pain. Tapi kalau kronik ni, dia berpanjangan. There's no end point.